welcome to the Auto Today YouTube channel. My name is Dhruv and the car next to me is the Kia EV6. Now this isn't the brand's first electric vehicle, but it is Kia's first purpose-built EV built on a dedicated electric vehicle architecture. And this is a brilliant showcase of what Kia Motors is capable of when it comes to electric mobility. The good news is that this car is coming to India, although it will be imported and will be sold in very limited numbers, around 100 units only. So it will be a niche offering, but Kia here does not want to chase numbers. Kia wants to show what it can do. Kia wants to show how technologically advanced the brand can be, and the Kia EV6 promises to be a great showcase of that. But before we dive into that, before I get to drive the car around the Budh International Circuit, remember to subscribe to the channel and click on the bell icon so that you get notified every time we go live with a video on Auto Today. Now we know styling is a very subjective matter, but we doubt there will be too many out there who would disagree when we say that the EV6 is quite a stunner. It's one of those cars which looks so much better in the flesh than in pictures or videos. The low set nose with those sharp headlamps adds aggression to the front end, while the side profile blurs the lines between hatchback and crossover body styles. Running along the lower end of the doors is a character line that rises up and integrates with those beautiful LED tail lamps that arc along the spoiler at the base of the rear windshield. Kia has kept the overall look sporty with two-tone alloy wheels, gloss black finish for front and rear bumper elements, with the only prominent use of chrome being on the tailgate, unifying the turn indicators. The cabin of the Kia EV6 feels sufficiently premium and sufficiently futuristic as well. It's unlike anything we've seen from Kia, at least in India. And first things first, what greets you is this twin spoke steering wheel. It's got all the controls for your infotainment, for your music, calling features, as well as ADAS features, which are all available in this car. But the main talking point of this dashboard is this curved display. This is a curved glass which integrates two separate displays. There's a 12.3-inch one for the driver, that is your instrument panel, and there's a 12.3-inch infotainment screen. Now both are highly configurable. The instrument panel, for instance, gets displays for your ADAS features, adaptive cruise control, or your trip details, distance, and of course you obviously have readings for how much range is left, how much charge is left, what level of region you're in, etc. The main screen, that gives you access, as we all know and we're all too familiar with all the functionalities of the car, including your Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, your settings for music, the vehicle, the ambient lighting, etc. Just below the display you'll find another touch panel. Now the interesting thing here is that this lets you control functions of the aircon as well as infotainment functions. So you can just simply press a switch here and the menu changes completely. That is very nifty, that is very interesting. And thankfully they have retained dials for setting the temperature. It's a dual zone climate control, so you have individual dials. So that's good because that makes it easy to change temperature on the go. For me, the most interesting aspect of the cabin of the EV6, especially if you're seated in the front, is this center console. It's sort of like a floating center console. There's space underneath. As you can see, there's actually a huge storage space underneath where you can store a substantially sized bag, handbag, etc. There are plenty of ports all around. There are USB-C, normal USB ports. There is a 12-volt socket as well. And on this center console, you've got your rotary selector to switch between your reverse, neutral and drive modes. Then you've got your buttons for seat ventilation, seat heating, steering wheel heating, etc. There are two cup holders as well, and a big storage underneath the central armrest, and a slot for charging your phone wirelessly. The way Kia has done up the cabin, it's really premium. It's the way the dashboard trim has this subtle design, the ambient lighting, and the way they've lit up the panels on the dashboard, especially this part below the aircon vents, it all looks very nice, very premium, very different from what we've seen so far in any car for that matter. And Kia has ensured that you get a long list of features. You get a Meridian sound system, you get electrically adjustable front seats with memory function as well, and like I said, these are heated and ventilated, auto dimming IRVM of course, and you get a sunroof as well. It is a large sunroof, although it is not a panoramic one. That's about it for the front seat. Let's hop into the rear seat and tell you what the space is like. The rear seat of the EV6, there is plenty of space. Headroom is definitely just about ample, but look at the knee room I have. This seat is set to my driving position and my height is 5'8" for reference, and I just have acres of knee room. Plenty of space to stretch my legs out, and the seat squab itself is decent enough. If you are taller, if you're say 6 foot or more, then you might have a slightly knees up position, but not too much of an issue according to me. Like I said, the sunroof is not a panoramic one, so there is just black headliner here, so that kind of restricts the feeling of space to an extent. 3 average size adults can fit in the rear seat, with the flat floor helping make middle passengers experience that much more comfortable. For those seated in the back, there are B-pillar mounted aircon vents, Type-C USB ports integrated into the front seat backs, and an armrest with cup holders. There's also a socket to directly plug devices like laptops into, and that's something you don't see often in cars. Under the electrically operated tailgate, there's 520 liters of luggage space. In case of the all-wheel drive variant that we had with us, there's a 20-liter trunk, while the rear-wheel drive variant ups that number to 52 liters. The variant we're driving is the all-wheel drive variant, so you get motors on both axles. There's a peak power output of 325 bhp and a peak torque output of 605 Newton meters, and that is quite substantial. And because these figures are so healthy, acceleration is quite quick. 0 to 100 comes up in just 5.2 seconds. That's sports car territory, and that's what makes this car so exciting to drive. Right now I'm in eco mode. I will quickly switch to sport mode, and yeah, this car pulls really well. And the thing with the Kia EV6 is, again, dedicated EV architecture, batteries along the floor, so the center of gravity is quite low. That makes it really good around corners as well. We've been driving this at the BIC, like we said, and it's a lot of fun pushing the car around. Although this is intended as a city car, an urban commuter, but you can actually have quite a lot of fun if you find a nice set of twisties, or maybe if you want to bring it to the track as well. The other variant you have is the rear wheel drive only. That has lower power and torque outputs, and of course it is slower to the 100 kmph mark as well. Talking about the battery pack, it's a 77.4 kilowatt hour battery pack in both the variants. Claimed range is in excess of 500 kilometers on a single charge as per WLTP standards. Of course, the rear wheel drive only variant has slightly higher range than the all wheel drive version we're driving. In terms of driving dynamics and capabilities, it's a really good car to drive. It's definitely a very fun car to drive. You'll enjoy pushing the car around, like we said. The steering, it weighs up really nicely. It's got, just the way it responds to inputs is really nice. The brake feel, the accelerator pedal feel, everything is very well sorted. In fact, when it comes to brakes, you also have a sport mode specifically for brakes that makes it a bit more progressive in some sense and gives you slightly more control over the car, especially if you're pushing it or driving it enthusiastically. As is the case with electric vehicles, there is obviously regenerative braking, and you have multiple regen levels to choose from. Using these paddle shifters behind the steering, you can increase it to level 3, level 4 even, or you can bring it down to absolutely 0. There are eco, normal and sport modes at the driver's disposal, and they alter the car's behavior exactly as you'd expect them to. Kia EV6's all-wheel drive system can seamlessly switch between rear-wheel drive only or sending power to all 4 wheels depending on the way the car is being driven to give you the best possible mix of performance and efficiency. I was speaking of regen, and what I wanted to point out was the fact that there is an auto regen mode which changes regen settings, the intensity of regen settings based on the traffic in front of you. So if say there is a vehicle in front of you, it will alter to give you the exact right amount of regen to let you keep your foot off the brake and drive with just the accelerator. which is something again is present in the EV6 one pedal driving, so you can keep it in the maximum region mode and just modulate your speeds purely based on throttle inputs. The Kia EV6 comes with a whole host of ADAS features, so you get your usual blind spot detection, but it also has blind spot braking, which basically means that if you are about to switch lanes and the car detects a vehicle approaching from behind, it will apply the brakes, it will keep you in your lane and prevent a collision. There are other features as well. There is lane keep assist, there is adaptive cruise control, there is front collision detection and automatic braking as well. Rear cross traffic alert, so if you're trying to reverse out from a parking spot and there's a vehicle approaching, the car will warn you, the car will stop. There is also a feature which prevents you from opening the door in case there is a car approaching from behind. When it comes to safety, there's plenty more that the Kia EV6 offers, including 8 airbags, adaptive high beam which keeps the headlamps from dazzling or blinding oncoming traffic, and driver attention warning. Safety related warnings are also relayed through the head-up display, besides the usual set of information like speed, navigation, directions, etc. The EV6 supports 800 volt fast charging, and Kia claims that a 350 kilowatt DC fast charger, only 18 minutes is what it will take the battery status to go from 10 to 80%. With a 50 kilowatt DC fast charger, which is the maximum available in India currently, 10 to 80% charge will take 73 minutes. While Kia has not specified charging options that will come bundled with the EV6, there will obviously be a portable charger that can be plugged into a regular 15 amp socket, and we also expect Kia to offer a complimentary AC wallbox fast charger that should be able to top up the battery pack from 10 to 100% overnight. What's also intelligent about the EV6 is that the port is bi-directional, so it can be used to power household appliances even. That's something that will certainly come in handy if you ever head out camping with the EV6. Bookings for the Kia EV6 commence May 26th onwards, and prices will be announced in June. Like we mentioned at the start of the video, it will be sold in limited numbers and will be a full import, so expect it to carry a starting price of around 60 lakh rupees. While it has no rivals in the market currently, it will lock horns with the Hyundai Ioniq 5, which arrives in the second half of 2022, and even the XC40 Recharge, but that will be slightly more expensive as per our estimates. With head-turning looks, generous space, a very long list of features and exciting performance, the Kia EV6 is certainly quite impressive. The EV6 isn't meant to chase volumes in India. It's a statement from Kia flaunting the brand's strengths, technological prowess, showcasing just how well prepared the brand is for our all-electric future. And that's something this EV does rather brilliantly.